Welcome back to the second part of the playthrough. Trying to get it uploaded quite quickly because it's been halfway through term one. I wanted to get the full term one uploaded as soon as possible. So when we left part one, we just finished the air phase. We then skipped the ground phase because there's nothing landed yet. So we're going to the logistics and invasion phase. The first thing in this phase is a check for victory. I'm not even going to go through that at this point. I explained in the first video that you need to get your units there, and there. The other thing we do next is check for whether we're actually landing this turn, which again, obviously we're not. So we skip over that. And then, so we move straight onto the reset phase. So any British stack which is currently out of supply is now unflipped and turned face up. Well, again, not landed yet, so we don't have any British stacks. Any group O's which were flipped this turn are unflipped, so they're turned over, but we don't have anything that one. And any units in the trialer box now move back to the total exclusion zone. So we've got all 4 ships moved back to the exclusion zone. That's ready to perform next turn, hopefully, unless a headline event prevents that. Then we have Admiral Anaya. If 2 Argentine warships are on the map, either at sea or in a port, and the port classes as the mainland box, which you can see they are, roll 1 die for each ship and move it to the resulting sea zone. So let's get... I'm just going to roll them both at the same time because there's no... and it's double 6. Now... Oh, and now, this is the first time I've had this, but this is good. If the die roll was doubles, place or leave both ships in the mainland, so the ships stay where they are, so they're not going to get in our way. The reason that's good is if a ship is in one of these areas, we cannot target them in the turn, so they could prevent us from targeting the group O's next turn, which they now can't do. So that's good. Now we move on to the repair pools, and the first part is Argentine parts shortage. If there are currently more than 3 Argentine planes in the repair pool, select the lowest strength unit. Now there are hundreds. Let me see if I can just zoom in a little bit on that. So we've got, we're looking for the lowest strength, which is quite clear, and this because we've got 1 unit that is just a strength of 1. Also, if you've got the Donadier or any roundel ones, they're only removed if there's no other options. So this unit here is removed from the game completely, so that's gone. There is an event that can bring some of these back. So, and then the rules are try again if possible. So we can do it again, and the lowest value, we've got 3 there, 3 of the A4s which have got a value of 4. Now I did mull over this rule because it states that, and then it said, as I've just said, it says try again if possible, and I was thinking, does that mean you repeat and repeat and repeat? And no, it doesn't, as far as I can see. It just means you try again once. So you can, to my interpretation of the rules, you can remove 2 of the Argentine planes in one go, but 2 in the first turn, that's good going. So move on to the next part of repair. British and Argentine units in their respective repair pools may now return to active use. Returning British units placed in the total exclusion zone. Returning Argentine units are placed face down in the Argentine mainland, which for us is the cup. British crew advantage. Now, as a benefit of that, the British player may now move any 1 British plane from the repair pool to the exclusion zone regardless of the weather. So this one goes back into there. That's the only one we've got. So that's ready again next turn. Now it depends on the weather what else we can put back in the repair pool. If the current weather is fair, all planes still in their respective repair pools return to use. So all these planes go back in here, ready to be used next turn. So there, to one side, and that's the repair pool sorted. Political factors removed the Pope and the diplomacy marker if they're in the current turn record track box. No, they're not. And the Chilean radar unit again, which is not. So now we're on to the news headlines. Okay, so what we do here is we roll one die, which you can see is a 2, and we add that to the current turn. So we've got a score of 3. So we look at the headline table and we've got a score of 3. So all these 6 events now occur. So I'm going to go through these in order and read them out. First one, US sends mixed signals. Factionalism between the pro-British Secretary of State Alexander Haig and the pro-Argentine UN ambassador Sean Kirkpatrick infuriates British Foreign Office mandarins and baffles world opinion. Roll one die for each faction. If Haig's roll is higher, add his roll to the BBC News. If Kirkpatrick's roll is higher, subtract her roll from BBC News. In case of a tie, add Haig's roll, because Reagan breaks the tie. Obviously at the time, very pro-British. So I'm going to roll for Haig, who's the pro-British faction. So we've got a 4 for Haig. Now we're going to roll for Alexander. And we've got a 2. So we move the BBC News on 4, although we're nearly at the top, so we can only move it on 2. So the first headline is a good one for us as the British. Next one. Operation Algeciras. I think I've had this one before. So, Argentine saboteurs sneak into Spain, plotting to blow up British ships at Gibraltar. Roll 2 dice. On a double one only, reduce the BBC News level by -10. All British ships in the TEZ must also move to the trial box and are inactive next turn. Can only succeed once per game. So this could be bad, but only on a double one. So let's roll our 2 dice here. And we're fine. So that event doesn't happen. Peace plan. The UN makes another peace proposal, trying to square the circle between macho Argentine demands for the islands and Britain's insistence that the islanders be free to choose their own future. The player must either reduce the BBC News number by 3, which is rejecting the peace offer, or else place the diplomacy mark on the next turn box on the turn track. Agree to waste time discussing it. Well, I'm just going to drop it by 3 because we're up near the top anyway at the moment. So we drop down to 16, which you can just see in that bottom corner. Viva Argentina. This event does not occur if Britain has air superiority in Sector E, which we do. So I'm not even going to talk about it. The funny thing is that I rolled that quite a few times in the last game, and that never happened. That I had superiority in Sector E, and it was only by a fluke in this one because obviously we retreated and then got lucky. So that one doesn't happen, which is good because that would have moved some of the Argentine stacks out of Stanley, which makes it more difficult. Now we've got collision. Roll 1 die. On a 6, remove 1 British Harrier, your choice, from the game. It's been mysteriously lost at sea. On any other roll, move the Harrier to the repair pool instead. It can't be used next turn. So we don't want a 6. I've not seen what that is. I'm going to roll it again so you can see it. I'm not even looking what it is. And a 5. So we've not lost it permanently, but we remove one of the... It doesn't really matter which one. I'm going to take one off from here. And that one's going in the repair pool, so that won't be used next time. Next turn, although it will eventually come back in. And finally, EEC NATO allies. Now, I remember in 82 there was a lot of controversy between different nations as to whether they supported Britain trying to take the Falklands back. And it was, I mean, as many people will know, this controversy still goes on to this day about the Falklands or the Malvinas, as it's known in Argentina. So I'm going to roll the dice, and there's 6 different events here. French, Italy, Ireland, New Zealand, West Germany and US. So some are good, some aren't so good for us. We've got 3. And the 3 is Italy. Italy's coalition rejects economic sanctions. Return 1 random Argentine plane from the discard pile to the mainland or the cup. So I've got 2 here. The 2 that we've just discarded, one of them's coming back. I'm not looking at what that is. No, that's going back in the cup. So some of our hard work has now gone to waste, but that's what happens in the game. So that's the end of the headlines. Now finally, air scramble. All British planes in sea zones and sector boxes must now move to the TEZ. So all the British planes, so this goes back, these go back, sector box. And then we've got these planes over here in the sector. I'm going to leave that there, although it's not been decided. Sector E is going to be the target air sector until we invade. All Argentine planes in sector boxes must now be moved to the Argentine mainland. So we've got... This is something I keep forgetting to do and then remember to a later bit. So just got those 3 there. So they all go back in there, into the cup. Ready for it. And that is the end of the turn. It's not been a bad turn. So we move the game marker onto turn 2, and I'm going to go straight into turn 2, which hopefully will start to get a bit quicker. I'll go through it less and less because I'm not going to have to explain everything. The turn that will probably slow down is the turn that I start invading again, so I'll have to explain things then. So the first thing we do on turn 2 is we look at the weather, which was fair in turn 1. So we've now got 2 dice to roll, and it's a 5. And a 5, 4 to 6 is fair. So we've still got fair weather. So no change with that. SAS raids. Well, the SAS raids won't have that until we're here. Diplomacy. We're still high up with the BBC News, so we don't need to look at trying to improve that. So we go straight onto the Group O stage. So we roll 2 dice to see what Group O's get added from the mainland to the sea sectors. And I'm hoping for double 5, which would mean nobody comes out. A 4 and a 1. Not quite. So we have this one goes in that one, and that one goes in there. No group maximum. So task force phase now. So now we're looking at what we do now. There's not the ships. Their ships aren't on the board at the moment, so we can't attack those. So I'm going to do the same as last turn. I'm going to try and take out the Group O, send as many back as I can to the mainland. Now I'm going to do the same as I did last turn on the theory that these groups, if I can leave them, you can't add any to those. So I'm gonna have I'm gonna have both my carriers, because there is a role where they have a slightly better chance of taking things out than the escorts. So the Hermes, they have to go with 3 of their own planes, remember. And the Invincible, also with 3 of their planes. And the Escorts go there. Now I'm just wondering why I've got something wrong here, because I should have more than... No, I shouldn't. I had 4 planes, I've got 1 in the repair pool. Sorry, thinking where's my other plane gone? Yeah, so we're there, set up with the Hermes, the Invincible, and the 2 Escorts to attack those. So let's go first. You remember we roll 3 dice, no modifiers. So the first one is going to be the Hermes attacking the 3rd Gruppo. And that's a 10. And this is a good example of why it's good. The ones you really want to take out, you go with the carrier. Because a 10, Argentine Gruppo driven off by British carrier. If carrier is firing, place Gruppo in the mainland, and if possible, move 1 random Argentine plane from the mainland to the repair pool. No effect on BBC. If escort is firing, no effect on the Gruppo or the BBC. Place the British ship in the trailer box. So, because it's a carrier, we get that one back to the mainland. We don't increase the BBC. That goes into the repair area. And we can take 1 of these and put it in the repair pool. Only a small one. But, and as you saw when we're looking at the repair, the aim really is at the end of it, or towards the end of a turn, we need to have 4 planes in there. If we've got more than 3, we can get rid of 1 of them for good. So that's what we want to do. So now we're going to roll for the Invincible. We need a good roll. And it's not a good roll. That's an 8. So an 8 is no contact. So we just place the British ship in the trailer box. We've now got the 2 escorts to go. Don't have to name which one, they're both the same. And the Gruppos are the same, so it's irrelevant which, we don't have to name which one. And we've got another 8. So again, that escort just goes into the trailer box. Now let's see if we can have a bit more luck here. We need 11 or more. And we've got a 14. Exactly what we wanted. So, the Gruppo retreats to the mainland. We move another random Argentine plane from the mainland to the repair pool. Place the ship in the trailer box. But we also raise BBC by 1. So, that one goes back in there. Escort in there. Take another out of the cup. That goes to the repair pool. And the final thing there is the BBC media, goes back up to 17. And that is the end of the task force phase. So not bad. We got rid of 2 Gruppos. So they've only got 4 on the board still. And we also got a couple of planes in the repair box. So we now move on to the Argentine air assets. We'll determine the target sector. If there's no forces on the board, it goes to sector E. We're already in sector E, so that's the target sector. We now roll a die to determine which of these Gruppos deploys first. So, 5. So, these 2. So, we place 4 planes in sector E. One, 2, 3, I said, we go that way, that way, that way. So we get 2 planes in sector B. And 2 planes in sector D. Quite high ratings on those ones. So I now launch my Harriers, and I've got 3. Got 3 left here. I've got 21. Now there is a chance that the roundel planes are moved away, so we could get rid of that by luck. We don't know, but my plan is, whereas this one, none of those will move, so they will keep a score of 20. These ones, I'm not going after these anyway, because that roundel plane could end up in sector E. So I'm going after this, and I'm going to hope that one in the next dice roll disappears. So what we're rolling is the junta plan roll. So we want 1 dice for the attack plan, and we've got a 4. Now let's see what a 4 is, and hope we've dropped lucky. Air Force Plan A, the Army Plan. No, sorry, Air Force Plan A. Brigadier Lamidozo, the Air Force Chief, uses assets more aggressively. All roundel planes on East Falkland move to Air Sector A. If there are British ground forces on the East Falklands map, which they're not, otherwise they move to the target air sector. This is good. That one's already in the target sector, the roundel plane there, and this one moves out. So that helps us. Now, we do roll again for the Argentine reaction, but it's a bit of a pointless roll, this. 2. So 2 says move all eligible planes to sector E. Well, sector E is the target sector, so there's a lot already in there. The only time these would move is if it's uncontested, so that's the only one we've got. But they have to leave 2 planes there anyway, so they're staying where they are. So they stay where they are, they stay where they are. The only place we're now going to have a battle is here. And we'll see. It's not great odds for us, but it's better than it was. So, determine sides, we're the attacker. Call for ground support. So let's have a look what ground support we've got. Move it up 1 for every ground Argentine unit we've got, and also if there's a Pucara unit, well, there's 4 including the Pucara unit. They can only move up by 2 anyway, so they do get the maximum again, which is +5. So we've got 21 points ourselves. The Argentines have got 6 for that plane, +5 for that, so they've got 11. So it's not, we're not quite at 200% odds. We're 1 point off. If they were only on 10, or if we were on 22, we'd be able to roll on the dogfighting for 200%. As it is, we're going to be going at 150%. So 1 roll, and let's see what we do. It's a 5. This might be good, because it tends to be that the lower down you go, the better the odds. The better, sorry, not the better the odds, the better the results. We've got a 5, and we have got defender break off pursuit. So we had a break off last time where we had to move. This time it's the Argentines that are going to have to break off. Now they're in sector B. Their direction is towards San Carlos when they break off. So the British break off that way, the Argentines break off that way. So they break to there. But we haven't got rid of any planes, although I'm looking at it now, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be irrelevant what I do, and I should have thought about this last time. We've got 2 planes in the repair box. Even if I go there and take that one out, they're only going to have 3 there, and I don't think there's any way of getting anything else out. So And if I go there, I'm running the risk, and I was doing this last time without really thinking, I'm running the risk of actually having my planes damaged or in trouble. Because it's fair weather, they'll go back in next turn, so I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to pursue them. I may be making a mistake there, but I don't think I am. So they've got air superiority in A, D and E. And we've got superiority in B. Again, doesn't make any difference at the moment. I still record it on the on this log just because I do, but it doesn't benefit anything really. So we're done with the air battle. It's now the ground war phase. We don't have the ground war at the moment, so we skip that and we go on to the logistics invasion phase. Victory check, skip that. No landing at San Carlos yet, so we've gone to the reset phase straight away. Any British stack out supplies unflipped, we don't have any. Any groupos flipped, they're unflipped, we don't have any. All units in the trawler box now move back to the total exclusion zone. They do go back there. Now we roll for the Argentine warships, Admiral Anaya. So we roll 1 die for each ship and move it to the resulting sea zone. As you saw last time, what we really want is a double. And we don't get that. We've got a 5 and a 2. So there's no difference between which ship you put where. So we'll have the Belgrano there and the carrier there. I think I'll probably, as long as those escorts don't get hurt by a headline event, I'll probably go after one of those 2 ships with a submarine next turn. All British ships and planes in C zones move to the TZ, so these go back as well at this point. Missed that bit. Finally, see if there are now any Argentine ships at sea. There are. If so, flip only 1 face-up stack of British ground units in a camp. The East Fog maps to its outer supply side. Well, we don't have any. That will, again, come into play later. So we're on to the repair pool now. Argentine parts shortage. We don't have more than 3 Argentine planes in that pool, so we can't discard any, unfortunately. This stage, they may, depending on various factors, they may return back. British crew advantage says that 1 British plane from the repair pool can move back regardless of weather. So that one, the only one we've got in there, so that's that. Fair weather. If the current weather is fair, all planes still in their respective repair pools return to use. So these 2 go back in there. So not as successful a turn for us that turn. We didn't manage to get rid of anything. Political factors, no, the Pope and diplomacy marker aren't on the board yet. The Chilean radar unit's not on the board yet. I will explain these as and when they come into play. And we're on to the news headlines phase. So, as you remember last time, we did 1 dice roll and we add it to the turn. So we've got a roll of 2 and we're on turn 2. So we've got a score of 4. So slightly different headlines this time, which I'll now run through. First one is the Black Book Air Raid. Vulcan bombers from the Ascension Island bombed Stanley Airport to degrade the Argentine garrison's supply lines. A daring but largely ineffective mission that was just as popular with the British public as it needed to be. Roll a die and increase the BBC News number by that amount. In addition, if the die roll is 5 or 6, retreat 1 of the Blue Star Stanley garrison units 1 camp, chosen randomly from those outside of Stanley. If all Blue Star Argentines are in Stanley, retreat 1 randomly into the broken morale box. Well, as you can see there, they are the 3 Blue Star units. They are all in Stanley, so if we can roll a 5 or a 6, one of those will drop into the broken morale box, which will be good. Not groundbreaking, because they will probably move out of there at some point, but it makes it easier for us. The further they are that way, the easier it is for us. So we want a 5 or a 6, and we get a 2. So those units stay where they are. So the only effect of that is we increase the BBC News by what we've rolled, which is 2, which does at least bring that up to there. So at least we've got the news again on 0. Oh, 0 on 19 on the maximum. Shady arms dealers, not so good. Britain's enemies work behind the scenes to arm Argentina. Roll 1 die and apply the result. Now, like with the NATO allies, there's 6 different things that can happen here. So we've got 2. Let's have a look. Israel's Menahem Begin takes revenge on the UK for World War II Jewish policy. Return 1 lost dagger from the discard pile. To the Argentine repair pool. Well, we haven't actually got one. All we've got is an AM. I'm not even sure what the AM stands for. It's not a mirage. So we can't do it. So there's no effect with that. Argentine surface action. British ships. I didn't want this because this means I can't attack their ships next turn. British ships are diverted to deal with fishing vessels fitted out as spy ships or to interdict blockade runners smuggling supplies to the occupied Falklands. 1 British escort ship must move to the trawler box. Can't be used next turn. Damn. And finally, BBC leaks MOD secrets. Roll a die. On a 6, Argentina exploits confidential MOD information leaked by the BBC. Roll another die to randomly determine 1 of the 3 British stacks. We haven't got the stacks on the board. If there are no British force on East Falkland outside the Sandcastle landing box, move 1 British ship from the TEZ to the trawler box instead. So we do not want a 6. As long as it's not a 6, nothing happens. It's a 6. So I've got to move a ship into there because we haven't got any ground forces. So I'm going to put the other escort into that box because we already can't. We need, if you remember last time, we need the 2 escorts to be able to attack one of the ships with a submarine. So if we've only got 1 as it is with the other one going in. So that completes the headline phase. So a bit of a mixed bag, not as good as turn 1. Move on to turn 3. And I'll do another turn and then probably wrap it up there for this video. Okay, so first roll we've got is the weather phase. See if we get something different to fair weather, because I'd like to show you something different. 8, I think we have. We've got rain and snow. So rain and snow, there are some effects now. I have missed something out from the last turn, so I'll just correct that when I've said that. Yeah, you still get the air phase because squalls or fog stop the air. What I've not done is moved these back. I've missed out the final phase where you put the British back in the TZ and these back in the... Not affected any gameplay doing that because it would have happened right at the end of the last turn, so no difference to that. Shows another shit. Yeah, that was another one. So that's that corrected. So no SAS raids. We don't need diplomatic feint. So we'll go straight on to the air phase. I'm going to roll 2 die to see how many group O's we get coming out. A 6 and a 2. So we get 1 group O there and 1 group O there. Just checking I'm not missing anything. Nothing there. So now it's our turn with the task force, and we've got the 2 carriers, which we can't attack these and we can't attack these because of the ships being there. If you remember, so I need to tip that a bit so you can see it. if you remember, any area with a ship in it, you cannot attack those groupos. So there's only really those two I can attack. And you've got to go with 3 for each. So the Hermes goes with 3 of its Harriers, and the Invincible there with 3 of its. I did toy with the idea actually this turn of not going with both of them and having a few more planes in the East Force, which I didn't do last time. I don't know how that would work. Well, I do know how it would work. It made me stronger there, but I've got a chance of taking out a Grupo here, plus a plane in the repair pool. So I think I'm better off going for it on this. I think that's the better tactics. So we now go for Task Force engagement table. We're going to roll 3 die and see where we go. Now, first one I'm going to do is the Invincible. And we've got a 13, which is good. You're probably getting to know this by now. 11 to 15, place the Grupo in the mainland, move 1 random plane from the mainland to the repair pool, British ship in the trailer box, BBC News goes up by 1. BBC News can't go up by 1, we're already at 19. So, the Invincible, that's the trailer box, that Grupo disappears there, and we now, have I missed something? Oh, yep, one of these goes in the pool. There's a roundel one and a 9, so that's good. The higher the better. So finally we have the Hermes, trying to take out the 3rd Grupo, send them back to the mainland. Not as good. 8 is a no contact, so the Hermes just goes into the trailer box. And that is the task force phase done. So we move on to the air asset phase. We know target sector is E, because it always is when units aren't on the board. So we now have to deploy the air forces. So let's just have a look and see what we're going to get. We're going to roll 1 die to see which ones deploy first. And it's a 6. And this is something we've not actually seen before, but the 6th one, the Rio Grande ones, they go to the target sector. So we get 2 planes there. The target sector, of course, as we just said, is E. So first 2 planes, we're going to put in E. Roundel 1 and a 3G. So we then go on to these ones that go in sector B. We want 4 of this. 2 there, 11, a 9, 2 more, a 6 and a 4, and none of those are roundel, so they'll stay in that sector, so probably going to avoid that one. Sector E is the other one, so sector E gets another 4 planes. Roundel 1, 4, 9, Donadier, and another roundel. So I've got 4 planes in the TEZ, and I don't know where to put them because they add up to 28. They're all 7s, so I could put planes value of 28, but they've got a value of 30. Those won't move because none have got roundels on. Or they might move actually. With the Argentine reaction, they could move out of there if I'm not in there. When they move, the planes are either going to move to there or to there. They either move to sector A or sector E or the target air sector. Really don't know what to do because I could end up losing my planes here. I was thinking about putting them in here, and depending on rolls I may end up with the roundel planes in, which will give me a slight advantage, but then in the final roll, the Argentine reaction, I could end up with those 2 going in and some of those going in. So I'm actually not, I'm not going to put the planes on. I've not done this before, and I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing, but there's a danger at the moment. I haven't got many Harriers on the board, so I'm going to be a chicken. Now what I'm actually going to do is roll the dice just to see what would have happened. So the only thing I was thinking about doing was putting them there. So I just want to see. So it's a 5 for the roundel plane. So Air Force Plan T. All roundel planes in East Falklands move to the target air sector. Well, they're already in there. They're there. So then we do the Argentine reaction. And it's a 3. Which is move all eligible planes to Sector A. Now, the eligible planes are, I've done the right thing. Any uncontested area, you move all but the weakest 2 planes to the sector, and they're all going, so these 2 would go to Sector A. And these 4 would go to Sector A. So I would have had a massive disadvantage. 20, 38, 45 against 28, so it'd be 150% against me. It works the other way, so yeah, I've been well down. So yes, I'm glad I've done that, even though it's a little bit of a chicken move, and it may cost me because it's very difficult to win this game, so you do have to be a bit brave, but brave or stupid. I'm quite happy that I've been a coward on that. So air superiority again doesn't matter, but they've got it in A, B and E. We don't have it anywhere because we're not on the board. Now, ground war phase skipped. Reset. All units in the trailer box now move back to the total exclusion zone. And all British ships and planes in C zones and at St. Carlos all move. So they move back, they move back, and they move back. And we now roll for the warships again, for the Argentine warships. So we're rolling 2 dice to see where the Belgrano and the 25 de Mayo end up. So it's a 4 and a 2. Well, the Belgrano's already in that one. We're just going to move that one up to there. Which isn't a disaster at the moment because there's nobody in that one, so it's not stopping us getting to anyone. If there are now any, sorry, that only affects it when we've got troops on the ground. Argentine parts shortage. We only have 1 in the repair pool. You can't quite see there, so that's not coming into play. We now look at, I did miss something out actually to do with the rain and snow, which, no I didn't, because it didn't matter, I don't believe, but let me just go back to it. I bought Skyhawks in the rain or snow. So on turns when the weather is rain or snow, it might have made a difference, but my fault, too late. On turns where the weather is rain or snow, remove all Argentine A4 planes. So I'd remove that one and also 2 in Sector E. So that's cost me really, but I'm not going back, it's my fault. And you remove them after you've placed them and then put them back in the mainland cup. The effect is caused by the A4 planes turning back. So yeah, shot myself in the foot potentially with that. But the way I tend to play it is, if I've messed up, it's my fault. Tough. So we're on to the repair side. If it's rain or snow, all planes still in their respective repair pools return to use except for 1, which is a randomly picked where I roll the dice. The only one is that one, so that one stays where it is. So at least that one stays there, which helps us for the start of next turn. Political factors, no markers there. We're going to news headlines again. So roll 1 die and add on the turn number. Now I'm going to roll that again, and it's a 2. So we've got 2 plus the turn marker, which is 3, for a score of 5. I think that's the same headlines as last time. Yeah, it is. So it's 4 out of 5. So first we've got the Black Book Air Raid, which if you remember was Vulcan bombers bombing Stanley Airport. So what we need to roll is a 5 or a 6 to retreat one of the Blue Star garrisons into the broken morale box. That's what we really like. Anything else, we just increase the BBC News number by the amount of the dice rolls, but as you can see there, we're on the most anyway, so that's irrelevant. So all the effect we can have here is a 5 or a 6, and it's a 5. Now does it say I can choose which one? Yeah, chosen randomly, so I can't choose. So what I'm going to do, because they have different numbers on there, the 15, 18, 17, up to 18 is the best one, so I'm going to do them like that. 1 and 2 will be the top one, 3 and 4 the middle one, 5 or 6 will be the bottom one. 3 and 4, so that worked out well, because 3 and 4 is the one that's a value of 18, so that helps. So that's good. We've now got Shady Arms dealers, where we roll a die to see which of the different countries are going to help the Argentinians, and it's a 3, and it's Libya. Libya's Colonel Gaddafi. Roll a die, and on a 6 add 1 exocet to the Argentine total. So let's hope not for a 6, and it's a 5, so got lucky with that, no effect. Argentine surface action. Again, we're losing an escort. British ships are diverted to deal with fishing vessels fitted out as spy ships. 1 British escort ship must move to the trailer box. It can't be used next turn, so we lose an escort again. And finally, the BBC leaks MOD secrets. So again, we don't want a 6. If it's a 6, we have to move a British ship to the TZ, so we could end up with no escorts again, which happened last time. So fingers crossed we don't roll a 6 on this turn. And we do again. Brilliant. So it's all falling apart. Now I'm going to move the escort. I think I've already explained how the carriers have more chance. They do have more chance, but again, I've got this thing about I would have 3 more planes to send. So let's see how that works. This may not work, but I'm going to put the Hermes in there, because the planes can still stay in the exclusion zone, even though the Hermes is there. The only time it will hurt me really is if I put that escort after one of these groupos and I roll a 10, which means the carrier would have taken him out, the escort doesn't. So, but I've got 3 extra planes available for using over the East Falklands next turn. So let's go with that, let's give that a try. Things aren't going well as it is, so it's not. Okay, so that's the headline table done. We now do the air scramble, where all British planes in the sea zones and sector boxes. Oh, I've done that. Yeah. Must be moved to the total exclusion zone. So we haven't got any planes out on ours at all, but the Argentine planes in here all go back in. I'd really like to try and take a few planes out next turn, because we're not making much of a dent in things at the moment. But that's those back. The one good thing is the media, the BBC media is still at 19, so that's nice and high. But we need to start getting rid of some of these planes. We've only got 1 plane off the board at the moment. So next turn, I'm going to end the video there, about 50 minutes in, and I will be back with you for the start of turn 4. Thank you very much.